Hi, my name is Leah for Life TV Network's Health TV. Millions of Americans suffer from chronic neck and back pain and can't find relief. At Goldsonm Spine and Rehabilitation Center, Dr. Goldsonm Jr. and his staff is looking to change that. Recently, Health TV sent Camille Anderson on location to Goldsonm Spine and Rehabilitation Center to see how Dr. Goldsonm is changing things one patient at a time. Take it away, Camille.
Thanks, Leah. So I made it to the plantation office here at Goldsonm Spine. I can't wait to see what they have to offer, and also probably get an adjustment and to find out what could be the cause of my migraine headaches. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Hey, Camille, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome to Goldsonm Spine.
Hi.
Dr. Goldsonm.
Hi, doctor. And this is...
I'm Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Come on back. Let's take a look.
All right.
Hey, Camille.
Hey,
Welcome
Doc.
to Goldsonm Spine.
Thank you. So tell me, what's this area?
Well, right now you're standing in our rehab area. I'm a chiropractor as well as a physical therapist. So often patients who come in who have neck pain, back pain, who have been injured because of some type of trauma, maybe an accident or slip and fall, or they just spend a lot of time at their desks and it creates muscle tension.
Right.
But one of the first things we have to do is diagnose what the problem is, and that starts with the conversation, which happens in the room. But invariably, because we're physical therapy included with chiropractic, they're going to end up in this area, which is the rehab area. This is where we perform exercises. Because if a patient has a muscle imbalance, and many times muscle imbalance will create situations where your body has resultant pain.
Right.
So the only way to do that is feed back into yourself from an exercise standpoint, but you have to know what to do.
Exactly.
So if I tell you you have poor posture, and the only way we improve that is to strengthen up the muscles, I have to show you those exercises to strengthen up that muscle.
Right.
And in addition, so the exercise equipment that you'll find here is you can mimic those exercises at home, or you can find them at a gym center.
Okay, so this is where the magic happens.
This is where people try to avoid this area. And once they get exposed to it, everybody says, if I say, you want to exercise? Yeah, sure, I want to exercise. I want to exercise. But once you start exercising, you realize, yeah, it takes a little energy. In the beginning, it takes a little effort.
Right.
But this is where we get our sweat. This is where we get our tears. And this is where we see a lot of people get stronger.
So you have a team dedicated to walk us through the exercises?
Absolutely. When a patient comes in, I will examine them, or one of my other doctors will examine them.
Okay.
We will perform x-rays, and we have digital x-rays in the back. We are able to actually go over those x-rays with the patient.
Right.
Right then and there. It takes maybe 5 minutes to come up on our screen.
Okay.
But once we start treatment and we start to progress the patient to rehab, the exercise component of it, we have dedicated techs who are specifically trained for posture exercises, for abdominal exercises, for lower extremity strengthening exercises, particular to that patient's condition. So we coordinate with our techs, we show them, often you'll find me on the floor, give an example of exercises.
So I did hear that you're also a physical therapist?
Right.
Okay, so that comes in handy.
That does come in handy. When you blend chiropractic and physical therapy together, chiropractic is looking at the alignment of our spine, relieving any interference in our nervous flow, creating balance. That's chiropractic. And chiro, when you break down the word chiro means by hand.
Okay.
So it's practicing by hand. So literally replacing our hands on patients and straightening out imbalance in muscle tissue, ligament tissue, and spinal alignments. But if I can help straighten out an alignment, we have to ask ourselves, where did the misalignment come from?
Right.
If it wasn't trauma, if you didn't fall, if you weren't involved in an accident, where was the trauma? And it's the same question as I drive around my car, the alignment on my car is off and I have to take it in for alignment.
Right.
What happened? Why do I have misalignment? Because you drive the car. And the same thing with our bodies. Because we take a step in front of another step, we're exposed to gravity 100% of the time.
Right.
And then add on to that, positioning and posture. stress levels. You know, chronic stress or acute stress, that affects our body. So our body's in a state of flux all the time. That's why sometimes you feel great and sometimes you don't feel so great. But what we're trying to do from a chiropractic standpoint is straighten out the alignment, but I want you to remain in an improved aligned state. Hence we have to focus on the muscles.
Okay, so let's go then to the different treatment rooms.
Got it. So Camille, this is where we take our x-rays.
Okay.
Patients who we feel need to have an x-ray, and it could be any part of the body.
Okay.
The reason that we're taking x-rays is to see the alignment of the bones. And if we see proper alignment or we see signs of arthritic changes, one of the best ways to determine if there's arthritis is actually to look at an x-ray.
So this is your still x-ray.
This is the still x-ray. So we have the digital motion x-ray, which is, we actually look at patients' neck with that, because if you've been involved in a rear end collision, many times whiplash occurs. And what is whiplash? It's your neck going in a whip-like motion. And as a result, the ligaments that hold the neck in place can become torn or overstretched, which will allow the bones to have excessive movement. So with the digital motion x-ray, we can see their head while they're in motion to see if the bones are staying in place or if they're sliding too much.
All right, so let's look at an x-ray and tell me, what would you be looking for?
Okay, so this we have on the screen is an x-ray of someone's chest.
Okay.
And the reason that we would take an x-ray of their chest is they're probably in for a physical.
Okay.
And they may be a nursing home assistant or something like that.
Okay.
And they have to have a TB test.
Right.
If you're from the islands, many times, because of the vaccinations that you received, you'll always test positive for tuberculosis. So in order to, with a skin test, so in order to rule out tuberculosis, you can do a chest x-ray.
Oh, after the patient comes in and does the x-ray, then you said within 5 minutes or so, you can then sit down and have a consultation with the patient to design a treatment plan.
Absolutely.
All right, so I know that technology has evolved. Has the technology evolved for x-rays?
Tremendously. And I think back, the room that we were in earlier,
Yes.
that room is now a digital x-ray room. There's a room on the other side of the wall
Right.
that go back, and we've been in practice for 25 years next year, 25 years. And years ago, we would have to use that room as the dark room because there was digital technology wasn't available.
Exactly. The technician runs and says, okay, hold still.
Right.
And she runs out the room.
She actually passes it through the wall. There will be a dark room door between the walls. You would pass the cassette through the wall in a dark room with a red light. You'll be able to take the cassette out, put the cassette through a machine that had chemicals to process it, and you would wait for it to come out and be processed. Now, no dark room.
Right.
Get rid of the dark room. Now that's storage. I take the cassette, I pop it in this machine, and it takes that image and it puts it on the computer screen for me. The basic technology is for taking x-rays is the same.
Right.
But it's progressed to a point of the processing. You're still the x-ray tubes which shoot out x-ray beams. And one of the things with x-rays, you have to control the amount of beams and the speed of the beams. Because ultimately an x-ray is x-rays are being absorbed by your body. The ones that make it through to make an impression on the cassette is really what's showing us the image.
Okay.
Right. So that hasn't changed over 100 years. But being able to take it from a cassette to a machine, and now in some of our locations, we don't even have to take out the cassette. You press the button and
it appears.
Oh, it's amazing.
So it just cuts time.
It's time saving. And not only time saving, it is safer for the patient because go back years, if I overexpose a patient,
you have to do it again.
I have to do it again.
Right.
Then there's more x-ray beams being absorbed by the patient. If I overexpose a patient now, I just adjust it on the computer.
Awesome.
Right.
All right, so let's then go to the consult room.
Okay, let's do that.
So now I'm in one of the consult rooms with Doc. And Doc, we're going to get a little bit personal because I have some issues that I need addressing. Now we know that chronic migraines or migraines is being suffered by so many Americans today. Chiropractic care has been noted as one of the treatments that can assist in that.
Yes.
How can you help me?
Okay, first, let's get to know your condition, how it affects you personally.
Right.
First, how long have you been suffering from migraines?
Oh, most of my life.
Most of your life. So we're gonna go back to before you were a teenager?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So what kind of treatments have you tried?
I've done it all. I've done
Dr. Goldsonm is very thorough. By asking a series of questions, he showed chiropractic care is not just about pills and medication. The questions were geared specifically towards me and my condition. Questions like, how long have I been suffering from migraines? How intense are they? And did I notice any triggers? When I told him that my migraines traveled, he said that was significant. He began to examine my neck and found that the area right below my skull was tense. He also stated that headaches due to neck misalignment is very common.
Just coming in with this.
With migraines?
Yes.
Yeah, enough. That's not actually as common as cervicogenic headaches, which is headaches that are caused by neck misalignment and neck dysfunction. That's the most common cause of headaches that we see, but the next would probably be migraines, and you're sticking there as well. So what I would do
Yes.
with you would definitely take an x-ray. Take an x-ray of your neck to see how you're holding your head.
I've tried acupuncture.
That's helped.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the things. We actually offer acupuncture here.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I actually love acupuncture. As a chiropractor and physical therapist, we're looking for the holistic ways of helping you. So anything that we could do to help you and relieve your symptoms, in this particular case migraines, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Right.
Acupuncture has been around for 5,000 years.
Right.
I've always had an interest, but I never had I really didn't have an understanding until I actually had a session myself. All right, so an acupuncturist who now works with us comes in and he's talking about his craft. I at the time was feeling a little bit low on energy, and I had a little bit of left low back pain with my chiropractor in the office of treating. I received the acupuncture session. It works on your energy centers,
Okay.
chakras. So you're basically trying to balance out your energy centers, which with some may sound it's hard to understand, but
Right.
understand when I say to you, your metabolism. What is your metabolism? Well, when I get older, my metabolism slows down. When
Right.
I'm younger, it's fast. But what is metabolism? It's really just your body's chemistry. How fast your body chemistry takes place, because our body has electrical components and chemical components functioning all the time.
Right.
So, and a lot of times that imbalance in the chemical components or the energy components can cause migraine symptoms.
Right.
That's what we're talking about, an imbalance somewhere, trying to find that imbalance. So all of this metabolism is just flowing energy,
Right.
constantly flowing energy. So anything like acupuncture, which is looking to coordinate and balance out your energy centers, that's how that acupuncture can help. So it's going to be different for different people.
Right.
So for you, for headache symptoms, I would definitely say, okay, we're going to treat it chiropractically.
Right.
I'm going to work out the muscle tension that you have in your neck, because knowing that muscle tension is going to lead to stiffness in your neck,
Right.
which also is an imbalance, which can lead to headache symptoms.
Right.
So we're going to relieve that. We're going to work on postural exercises for you, because one of the reasons that the tension can develop into your shoulders
Just poor posture.
is posture, because everything that we do, most of the things that we do are in front of us, hence there is a
The sedentary.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
progressively forward. We have to actively go progressively backwards with
Right.
good posture, which actually takes off stress on top of the muscles on your shoulders. So we would show you an exercise program. As a matter of fact, that would start with a band that I would give you, and we'll go over it later. I want to show it to you,
Right.
that you can start doing exercises while you're at your desk,
Right.
every hour on the hour.
Okay.
But today, you and I are I'm going to adjust your neck.
Oh,
Yes.
pain.
No,
I hear pain.
I don't hear pain.
Why do I hear pain?
I hear relief. I heard relief. So let's get set up for that.
All right, awesome. So in the background, you may be hearing Doc washing his hands as I get ready now to do an adjustment. Let's see if this really works.
Now, I just want you to relax. You just relax.
I have to admit, I was a bit nervous, but as Dr. Goldsonm began working on my neck, his excellent bedside manner kept me engaged to the point where he was able to adjust and crack my neck before I knew what hit me. I did feel relief, finally. Chiropractic care is not an exact science. It is different for different people. That is why it is very important that you be open and honest with your doctor. Dr. Goldsonm have a treatment plan designed specifically for me and my symptoms.
No, during the process, I'm not sure if you could hear, but my bones were actually cracking. What's happening?
Well, you have 7 individual bones in your neck that sit on top of each other.
Right.
And they should have independent movement to a certain degree, and they should have an ability to work together to a certain degree.
Okay.
Those joints on each side is surrounded by a capsule. That capsule, on the inside of that capsule that surrounds the joint, has cells that produce fluid
Okay.
called synovial cells. So those synovial cells produces fluid, so those joints are lubricated and can work
Right.
together. If we have restrictions in that movement, be it because of muscle spasms, trauma, stress,
Right.
the capsule is not going to be stimulated to produce fluid, hence a less lubricated joint, more friction and restriction in motion.
So how do I get fluidity?
We have to introduce motion, and that is the chiropractic adjustment. I find the spinal joint that's restricted, I stretch it a bit, I open it up,
Okay.
and now you have more motion.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, go
So
ahead.
typically, well, how many adjustments would you say I need?
You relax your shoulders a little bit.
Here it comes.
Well, quite frankly, for you, because you have muscle tension, you have a lot. We would have to discuss balancing the muscle tone a lot more. So it's the posture exercises. It's the relief of just letting your shoulders relax.
Right.
That's a part of it. Chiropractic adjustment for you, based on your migraines, probably once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Probably once every 2 weeks. But 3 times a week, I would want you to focus on
Some
posture
exercises.
exercises and relaxation.
Okay.
That's what I would be working on.
Awesome. Now, people tend to think that chiropractic care is expensive.
Yeah.
Do you guys offer or cater to persons with insurance and those without?
Yes. Everyone. If you have insurance, if you don't have insurance. Our practice was built on primarily treating patients that didn't have insurance.
Okay.
Right. We are contracted with most insurance companies. For those who don't have insurance or we're out of network and they don't cover us here, we have very reasonable cash fees. The very first visit that a patient will have, which includes x-rays, chiropractic treatment, everything.
You're right.
Everything. Is $100.
What? Get out of town.
No.
$100. Am I hearing right?
And then every follow-up visit, because many times patients have to come in multiple times.
Right.
It's a lot less than that. A lot less than that. So maybe what we found is, the co-pays, the insurance industry is changing all the time, so it's hard to keep up and understand, not just for me as a practitioner, but a consumer, just someone walking around with insurance. Most people don't understand what coverage they have
Right.
with their wallet. So we want to make sure that everyone has access to care. So it's always been that way.
So Doc, my neck is feeling a whole lot better.
Right.
But I'm a bit skeptical. When I had my adjustment the first time about 5 years ago, I noticed that after I went home, my headaches increased to the point that I was vomiting. And, it was not a pleasant experience. Should I be worried that this will happen again?
I would tell you this, I wouldn't expect you to have those symptoms later. I would actually expect that you would have one of the best nights of sleep that you've ever had in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But after an adjustment, your body's been taken from a state of dysfunction to a degree to improve alignment, but there is muscle memory.
Right.
So your body still is trying to fight to get back to where it was before.
Right.
So very much like when you exercise. If you haven't exercised in a long time, you exercise the muscle the very next day. Because of that increased energy, your body's going to have to go through a transition,
Right.
which really feels like pain.
Right.
It's pain
Yeah.
and
So you're
discomfort.
telling me I'm going to feel pain?
I'm not expecting you to, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did. Especially if that's how your body
If I
responds.
feel pain, I'm coming back for him.
And that's exactly what I want you to do, because I would know that if we're making that much of a change neurologically in your body after one adjustment,
Right.
we're making changes. So I would want to see you again to continue to further that change. With that being said,
Yes.
the change also starts with you as a
Okay.
patient. And how much energy on a consistent basis are you flowing in? I want to focus on posture muscles.
Right.
I want to set your posture so that you're sitting back a little bit more without even thinking about it.
Right.
So how do we do that? We have to activate the muscles that provide that motion. Don't go up, just come back. There you go. That's where we want you, right there. So what I've given you, Camille.
Like most people, the thought of exercise doesn't instill me with excitement. However, the exercises that Dr. Goldsonm is showing me seems simple enough to do even that work. I am going to take his advice and give them a try. After all, what do I have to lose except pain and discomfort? Talk a little bit more about why you guys started this.
All right, Doc, so tell me, what are we looking at right here?
Well, right now, we are standing in front of our Dr. Goldsonm Jr. Foundation Memorial Wall. This practice was started, next year will be 25 years.
25 years.
25 years in practice. In 1993, my father started this practice. He started off as Dr. Fidel S. Goldsonm, DC, chiropractor.
Right.
When I actually got out of college in chiropractic school in 1996, we changed the name to Goldsonm Spine Rehabilitation Center. But our founder, my father, Dr. Goldsonm Sr., started this practice with a dream. He was from Jamaica.
Okay.
And he would tell me ever since he was a little boy, he always wanted to be a doctor. He went to the Navy, became an OR tech, and continued to pursue education to become the doctor. He chose chiropractic because he believed in the body's ability to heal itself.
Yes.
And if we relieve any blockage, it can do that faster and more efficiently. So he pursued his chiropractic dream by going to Los Angeles, California. Okay. He went to Cleveland Chiropractic there, and I still remember it. I still remember when he drove off. I still remember when he drove off. I still remember the car he drove off in to make the drive to California. And he came back successfully as a chiropractor, and he started laying his roots here in the Plantation Lauderhill area. My dad, I remember, he would pretty much do anything to promote chiropractic. He would go out in front of grocery stores. He would set up a unit which will tell someone how well they're balancing their weight over their body. He would speak to any and everybody. He was a loved man. He loved what he did, and he started this practice where we're standing at. So through it, he's passed in 2013, and the same fundamentals and foundations and values which he started the practice, we strive to continue that in the practice, but also through his foundation. So the foundation was started a year after he passed, and through that foundation we have a couple of annual events. We had a 5K, and all of our money that we raise through the foundation goes towards students.
Okay.
Students, we've given a number of scholarships to local high school for students, and every year we're doing an annual back to school.
Yes, I saw that you had some book bags.
All over the place. We have book bags literally all over the place, and these book bags are provided to local students. at the Central Brow Regional Park. Actually, it's on August the 12th. Every year we have it on usually the first weekend of August, but this year is the second weekend of August. But we provide book bags and school supplies are in here to students. We have barbecue, bounce houses. It's just a day that we can come in and celebrate the community.
Awesome.
And as a community, we can celebrate together. And it feeds into education, which is what my father really stood for. He stood for a number of things: promoting healthcare, promoting community activism and community support, but also very much promoting education. Because if we're going to change our society for the better at every stage, we have to educate ourselves spiritually, academically. There's so many ways that we have to activate our level of thinking and what we know. So this wall is memorable pictures of my father at different stages of his life, but ultimately it was the same man in every one of these pictures. And you know, we love and miss him, but ultimately, we know that
his legacy
lives on.
Definitely.
Right.
I want to say that, you know, I can feel that this is a family-oriented business.
Yes.
And I know that you have different family members that are part of this. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, my wife works hand in hand with me. We have 4 locations.
Okay.
My wife is the office manager of 1 location, and she's a doctor of marriage and family therapy. So the patients who we treat from a physical standpoint, who also are having emotional issues that are contributing or causing or being affected by physical pain, she will come in and she will assist with those and she will counsel those particular clients. I have another cousin who's a doctor of physical therapy who works here with us.
Okay.
My aunt is the office manager of the office that we're standing in right now, the plantation office. A cousin of mine is the office manager of our North Lauderdale office. And a family friend who's been a family friend since I think I was probably 2 or 3 years old is the office manager at our Aventura practice. My uncle is very heavily involved in our marketing, our grassroots efforts. So, most of the employees that have been here long enough to be considered family. So we consider ourselves a Goldsonm Spine family. We consider ourselves very much connected together with one common cause, which is to provide care for people and to run an efficient business and to try to run a business well and to try to provide really good customer care and maximize the business potential of it. So it's very much a family practice, and that's one of the biggest blessings of my life, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit more into that sort of thing as we talk some more.
Sounds great.
Doc, I'm seeing that there are 2 products here. You have the cold and hot spray and also the pain cream. Tell me a little bit about this.
These are products I'm actually very proud of. Over the many years that we've been in practice, there are different types of cream that we would use with patients from different companies.
Okay.
And they were effective.
Right.
A lot of them were effective, but over years of using these different creams and sprays, we found out what actually was most effective for the patient.
Right.
Was the heating effect, was the cooling effect, how long lasting was it? So nothing really hit the target like we really wanted it to for our specific patient base. So we developed the Dr Goldsonm Spine, Joint, and Muscle Pain Cream. We've had it on the market and in our office for about a year and a half, and it's been received very well. That's why I'm so excited about it. You come out with a product and you're a little nervous because all I really wanted to do was work.
And this is sold at all your locations?
This is sold at all of our locations, and it's sold at www.drgoldsonm.com.
Awesome. Now, does it smell bad?
It has a menthol smell. So let's talk about that for a second. Most of the patients that we work with and people in the community at different health fairs that we work with, they don't mind the smell because it's a fainting smell. But because the maximum amount of menthol that you can put in a product without being flammable, it's 10%. Because of that, it has a menthol smell. But that's one of the reasons that it penetrates so deep, because of the high content of menthol, added on with the high content of camphor. So it's a long-lasting cooling, but it's a deep penetrating heat that lasts a very long time with only using a little bit. So, but the smell is fainting. It feels like for one side of the shoulder, literally, I only need this much. Okay?
Okay.
And I will rub that into the area.
Now, is it water-based?
Yes, it is water-based.
Okay.
So it'll absorb right into the skin.
Alright.
And then you rub it in until it disappears.
And I should be feeling...
Now right now, within the next couple of seconds after I start rubbing, you're going to start to feel the cooling sensation.
Okay.
And you know what I'm going to do? So you can know there's a difference. I'm only going to use it on one side
Right.
now. And we'll put it on the other side a little later.
Okay.
So I go up into your neck because I know at the base of your skull
Right.
that you have some tension there.
Right.
And here. And that's it.
All right. So let's talk a little bit more about the practice. You indicated that you had several locations.
Right.
Let's go over those locations again.
Well, the original flagship office is the one that we're sitting in now. That's the Goldsonm Spine Rehab Center Plantation.
Okay.
This is the original office. This is the one my dad started when everything started, basically. After that was our second location in Pembroke Pines. That's been around for 10 years.
Wow.
Right. That's the practice that me and my dad started together. So we were working in this office for a little while together, and then before he had foresight. Actually, before I finished chiropractic school, he had already set things in motion into the building in Pembroke Pines where we are at now. So God opened up the doors after less than 7 years. We were there for 5 years before we actually, in that plaza, a larger space became available because we had grown out of our space.
Right.
So it became available in the same plaza. So that was our second location. Our third location, which is North Lauderdale, it's celebrating its second year. We started that practice. It's in North Lauderdale, right on 441 and Boulevard Champions. The main doctor there that treats there is Dr. Coy.
Okay.
Dr. Coy trained and worked with us for a number of years. We felt confident that he could take our brand of
Yes.
treatment for patients
Right.
and apply it in North Lauderdale, and he did. And so they're doing well, and I'm excited about them. Our fourth location is the Aventura office.
Okay.
That's been around for a year. The doctor that heads that practice down there is Dr. Walker. She's a fabulous, caring doctor, and she takes as much time as she needs to do with patients, and that's the Goldsonm Spine way.
Right.
And that actually practice was funny how that we weren't looking for an additional practice.
Okay.
The North Lauderdale practice, we were looking to expand and grow. When I was in chiropractic school, I always had a dream of having 4 practices. So
Oh,
people
okay.
ask, where did that come from?
You just had that
Right,
dream.
I had that dream to have 4 practices. My dad was just good for 1, maybe 2, and that's it. We're good. We're happy.
Right.
So then we had an opportunity in North Lauderdale. We did that with Dr. Coy. Aventura actually just happened. A doctor who had been in practice for over 28 years in that same plaza, in that same location, he was retiring, and we found the opportunity to move into a practice. We knew we wanted an additional location in the North Miami Aventura area, and so when that was presented to us, I felt like it was just right, and we've been there, and we're actually enjoying that area too. So, and they're doing a great job down there. So right now, with the 4 locations, that feels just right.
Just right.
Just right.
So, what type of patients do you see?
And the thing that we try to tell patients is focus on you, focus on your health.
Getting better first.
That's the first thing. But so if you have a toothache, you typically go to the dentist and fix the tooth, an ankle or something. But something happens when you're involved in a car accident. Everything else just turns upside down, and it's not your health that's the most important thing.
Right.
So we try to encourage patients because your body can be affected for many, many years after an accident if you don't treat it right
Exactly.
in the beginning.
Exactly.
So we see the athletes who come in who have sprained ankles and sprained low back, and we just see the patients like you
Right.
who are living and who are working and very often don't have the time to really balance out exercise, or the pain is preventing you from causing
Right.
exercises, or you're just trying to figure out how do I get back to a balanced life with less pain.
Exactly.
That's what we see. And then often we see a person who just has heard that chiropractic care can keep them alive, they're not even having any issues. That is the proactive patient. You know, I mean, they're far and few between, but they're out
They're
there.
there. Okay. And your office locations, they're open Monday to Friday?
We're open Monday through Saturday.
Oh, okay.
We're open Monday through Saturdays from 8 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Our Thursday hours are half a day, so we are open from 8 till 1 o'clock in
Okay.
the afternoons, and on Saturdays we're open from 9 to 12:30. So what we found is that's a schedule,
It
it
fits.
fits most people. Even if they can make it in on a Saturday morning,
Okay.
we try to make ourselves available for that.
Okay. What makes your practice different?
Our practice is probably different without me having worked in a different chiropractic office before. But I can see that one of the differences is that we offer physical therapy.
Yes.
That's probably one of the major ones. The fact that I'm a physical therapist and my cousin's a doctor of physical therapy, we offer physical therapy, so it just doesn't stop at the chiropractic adjustment. It doesn't stop at the electrical stimulation that we put on you. It doesn't stop even at the massage therapy. It doesn't stop at the acupuncture.
Right.
It doesn't stop at the license and doctorate of marriage and family therapy who will address your emotional counseling needs. it's all of that working together so that whatever that you as an individual need, we're able to treat the entire person, the whole person.
Right.
So if it's an emotional need that's creating a physical issue,
Right.
we'll address that in addition to addressing the physical issues. If it's just motivating you and finding techniques so that you have time to add activity to your routine to improve your posture,
Right.
we're going to activate that. If it's offering acupuncture to balance out your energy centers, we're going to do that. And sometimes you just need a massage.
Right,
too.
right,
So,
right.
So all of those things I think is what's mixed. And then we're always trying to advance ourselves. The digital motion X-ray, literally there are 2 of those units in all of Broward County.
Wow.
There's 2 of those units, and that wasn't me. That was my dad. So
Right.
he had, like I said, he had foresight
Yes.
and difference.
And what one key would you say, or one tip that you would give our viewers if they're having issues? What one tip you would say to them or to encourage them?
Believe that you can feel better. Believe that the pain or discomfort that you're having, you don't necessarily have to live with it. Believe that if you actively seek the treatment for your injuries, God will reveal that to you, and there's a way that you can feel better and you can stay that way, and your life can just be more enjoyable. You can have greater joy. And from a physical therapy, chiropractic standpoint, acupuncture standpoint, we've seen thousands upon thousands of patients come through these doors, and we're able to help them with our hands or with other services that we provide here, and they feel better. And sometimes I had a young man in his probably mid-30s. You can tell he works out a lot.
Right.
Every time he would have, whenever he would take a deep breath in, he would have sharp pain
Right.
towards his back. And he comes in, he dealt with that for 2 years. The reason that he didn't get in sooner to get treatment is because he thought that was something serious. That
He was scared.
He didn't want to hear about it.
Yes, many times people are scared to learn the truth, right?
Absolutely. And so he came in, we took x-rays, we adjusted his rib, it was out of place.
Okay.
After one adjustment, he was able to get off the table, take a deep breath,
Wow.
and breathe without
Wow.
a problem. And to me, it's simple because from a chiropractor, I've been doing this. Put the bone back in place, you won't have a problem. But for him, it was a life-changing event.
Right.
I've never seen the man again since.
Wow.
But I know he's out there and he needs help.
He's better.
And so that would be my tip. If you're having pain, if you're having discomfort, if you're having dysfunction, if you're having imbalance in any part of your life, know that you don't have to live with it.
Well, thank you so much, Doc. This was very enlightening, and I definitely will be coming back.
Look forward to it.
We thank you again so much for joining us on Health TV. This is your host, Camille. I really enjoyed my time at Goldsonm Spine and Rehabilitation Center. The information I learned will serve me for a lifetime. Listen, you don't have to live with chronic neck and back pain. There is relief. To make an appointment and start your journey to a pain-free life, call one of their many offices located throughout South Florida. Dial 1-866-GOLDSTON. If you're in the Plantation area office, then dial 954-584-3774. Make it a date.